The the date is November 24th, 2019. Survivor Series. They're in Chicago, the Allstate Arena. Raw versus SmackDown. And a little sprinkle of NXT. We're going to talk about this is the Big Pop 30 podcast, Survivor Series 2019 Retrospect review. If this thing could go down. I'm one of your hosts, the Great Grand Slam Pooba, but I'm not hosting this show. I'm going to give the floor to this guy right here, Rich Kings, please. Sir, you are the quarterback here. How the heck are you?
Good. I feel I'm throwing some fun balls. Mark, you know what that means, a little insider for us. So I think we're gonna have a good show today, guys. By the way, check in. How you guys feeling tonight? Mark, the great Gene, what's going on?
I had a week, but everything is all right. It's once again just little minor inconveniences, a bunch of first world problems, but overall chilling.
Same. I drank a little bit earlier. I got my cooking done, so I ain't burning down the house. The wife just ate, so she's good. I'm good. Let's get this show on a roll, baby.
I'm glad that you asked me one, Rich King, how I'm doing. I'm glad that we're talking about NXT because let me tell you what happened this week. On Tuesday, the greatest NXT Women's Champion. There we go. See, that's what I'm talking about. He gets it. My man's right here gets the greatest NXT Women's Champion of all time. She got her championship back. The great JC James. She beat Terrible Tatum, and I am happy.
I'm happy for you too. I meant to text you after. I was like, wow.
You know, not for nothing. I don't want to make this about me, but like everyone knows I'm a fan of hers, and there's people who literally write me and say, "I know you're happy. I know you going crazy." So things are going well here on the side in the House of Jack.
As you
I
should,
love it.
because like at this point, it's not a fluke. So like all the haters, well, they got to be quiet now. They have to be quiet.
Great point. I mean, how many two-time NXT Women Champions are there?
She's in a great catalog of Charlotte Flair, Shayna Baszler, and Roxanne Perez. Great company, if you ask me.
And that sounds like a pretty short list. So
It is a short list.
Very.
I guess she might be one of them greats. Well, speaking of the greats we actually do know and we remember, this is 2019, and we started off with that women's tag team match, right? So let's talk about those women's tag team matches here. And we got Rhea Ripley on Team NXT, Bianca Belair, Candice, Leo Shirai, instead of Leo Sky, and Toni Storm. Remember in Team Raw, we had Charlotte Flair, Natalia, she's always on the team, it seems like, Asuka, Ari Zane, and Sarah Logan. Against Team SmackDown, Sasha Banks, Carmella, Dana Brooks, Lacey Evans, and Nikki Cross. Mark, I'm gonna start with you. What are your key takeaways from the match, and how are you feeling? How was this match for you?
This was a wonderful way to get the party started. I something I noticed, and I've noticed it several times throughout the show, but it started here. The crowd was booing SmackDown, and like they were booing SmackDown, and I was like you would think, all right, cool, whatever. Charlotte Flair is there, and Charlotte's still on her heel stuff, but no, it happened throughout. As far as this match is concerned, it was a wonderful match, excellent. Once again, just like when watching 2016, this year, 2019, also had this like weird sense of nostalgia to see all the ladies on NXT, like seeing Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. Like that was for me, that was my personal introduction to those two. So like I hadn't seen them before. So like I'm like, all right, I remember being at the bar getting hyped. All right, cool, whatever, see what they got. And this was like where like they started to really like pop off and show off. I did notice that Toni Storm, the #2 PWI Woman of the Year, I feel like she didn't do much in this match, or maybe I just missed something. But it was just something that I noticed. But for the most part, I did enjoy the match. I found it hilarious that who got whatchamacallit? Someone got hurt. Two people got hurt in the match. And then just to, spin the block, come back and help Rhea Ripley. That was hilarious. I was like, yo, NXT is in their bag right now. And yeah, overall, keeping it brief, I did enjoy the match. There was a lot of fun things that happened in this match. Also, nah, you know what? I'll save that point for the end. Never mind. My bad. But yeah, overall, dope match.
Love it. The Great. I love to hear your thoughts on this. Come on, Great.
I love how you say that. Thank you, sir. Um, I wanted to touch on what Mark was saying because I agree with that. Like you see the evolution, right? And you see where these girls at now. So when I'm looking at Rhea and I'm seeing Bianca and Io, and you can say Tony Storm too, if like you see some of her stuff in AEW and how she evolved. And I'm looking at this and you see how Bianca, she's getting eliminations. You're right. Tony didn't do a whole heck of a lot in this match, but she was there. Rhea, she was the leader of this. I don't know. This was fun. Like a little bit of me when I was watching this, I was like, man, I feel like would I be hypocritical? I'm like, I enjoyed this, but I really did not enjoy that tag match that we tag survivor match that we all watched last week. But this was fun. I mean, it was the right call to make NXT get the dub here. NXT, they just went on USA. You have to make them, they have to look like they belong. And watching this, I was like, I'm glad that they did that because they could have easily have jobbed out NXT. So I love that they did it. And they went in the ring with some killers here. Charlotte, Sasha, Mello was in there as well. She's a former champion. But some people in there, I was just like, oh, okay, you're just here to fill up spots. And I want to look back at that roster at the time and be like, because like Dana Brooke was in it. And no disrespect, Dana Brooke, I was never a fan of Lacey Evans, just never could get into her. And I just wonder, like, where was anybody else? But other than that, just to, not to get too crazy here, I'll save it for later in the show. I enjoyed it. It was a great call. And NXT is so smart at that call. Like they said, no, we have to get you. That was brilliant. That was intelligent. And that's why NXT is still killing it.
Love it, love it, love it. Gene, something told you to give me a curveball here, so I'm ready for it. I'm ready to catch this curveball.
In all honesty, this Survivor Series was my introduction to actually see NXT talent because Poobah will tell you long before that I was calling them the developmental brand, so I really didn't take them as serious. Up until watching this Survivor Series, even leading up to it, and looking at all the future greats that came out of it, it was great to see character development coming out of like the evolution of Rhea Ripley, the evolution of Bianca Belair, even Tony Storm. Like, yeah, she didn't cut it here in the E, but going to AEW, she became timeless. Tony Storm produced great work. Io Sky, one of the greatest wrestlers today that we have, greatest female wrestlers we have today. It was actually pretty cool watching them. I do agree, Mello was probably to fill up a spot, but hey, even then she became a world champion at that point. I wish with some of the stars, when you look back at it, like people like Shayna Baszler, I wish they had done more with her and booked her a little bit better on the main roster because she definitely looked like she would have done something really dope and really dominant if booked correctly. But otherwise, this was like this first match. I loved it. Like I give it a solid 8 out of 10 off rip. Great way to start the party. A great introduction to NXT, and I agree with the booking call. Yeah, NXT definitely should have won with the talent that they had there and the performance that they were pulling. I agree. Definitely 8 out of 10. Solid.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I think NXT clearly should have won this match. I think when you think about it, was almost like a mirror, right? You have Sasha Banks and her team over here. You got Charlotte, her team over there. The shenanigans and Asuka pulled the nerve of spitting that mist in her face. But just the how you seeing how these leaders and the former NXT greats are watching this new group come in, and they won pretty convincingly. I understand that it was those two snuck to the bat. It was injury came back, but at the end of the day, like the way how the match was going, I feel they did a really good showcase of showing the NXT women how they were wrestling. I think it was a really great way to start the match. For me, the first match is going to start off the tone for the rest of the pay-per-view. And if it's trash, I'm going to be in for a long night. And if it's great, it makes me feel like I can't wait for the next bit. So I agree with everything you guys are saying. The only takeaway I did not like about this match, I understand time constraints. I hate hearing the brand like that, the Raw theme. I'm like, was this really NXT theme? But what was that? So what's going on? The Great, what's going on?
No, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say, I hated that Raw theme so much. So when you said that, I was like, yes. I thought you was going to say like time constraint and everything. Because like, I just want to say real quick,
no, go on.
Natalia, Natty, number 75, she literally lost to a punch. And I said, what are we doing? I'm sorry.
I mean, all of those themes sounded very generic. I don't know. They were all generic.
It was just generic? I thought it wasn't the main song of the show when the show starts?
No, that was. But SmackDown's was clearly the better one.
I don't even remember what Raw's theme was at the time.
I forget who sang it, but it was like na 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 na.
Oh,
It was always I don't know who sang it. I don't know if that was Nickelback, but
no wonder why it was non-memorable. Oh, okay, fair enough.
don't do that to Nickelback. They're great.
It,
Go ahead.
it just wasn't good. I think we're on the green side. It's a no for me. But I do like at the end when was it Rhea won? We heard a theme. So we went away from the NXT theme and we heard Rhea's theme after she wins the match. Congratulations to Rhea Ripley. So great way to start off the match. I think we're all in agreement. So let's move on to the second one here. All right. So the next match we had a triple threat match with Roderick Strong from the Undisputed Era, AJ Styles, and Shinsuke Nakamura. So Roger Strong ended up winning this match. And I'm gonna say my opinion to the end for this one. I'm gonna start off with the great. How you feeling about this, Mr. NXT, about Roger Strong taking a W over AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura?
I loved it. I loved it. So if I could just go back in 2019, I remember I was so stoked about this because I said these three men, they're so talented. The stuff I was watching from Roddy. If I have to tell you something about AJ Styles, you're new here. And Nakamura, even though you could talk about the way he's booked and stuff like that, he can still produce a really good match when allowed to, I guess is the way. And I liked it. I really very much liked it. I liked how he outsmarted AJ. AJ hit the elbow. He gets in there and sneaks in there. But in 2019, I remember I was kind of disappointed because I was like, man, I feel like there was a gear that they could have went into and they just didn't do it. But then I watched this back and I'm like, man, this match was really solid. This was really good. I don't like how my man Roger got cut off. He was getting ready to do his thing and then they just cut it off. You saw that, right? They cut him off. Even Roderick just laughed. He said, all right, I'm not the main roster guy. We got to play that AJ Styles.
Once the blue hit, I was like, oh,
right. I just thought that was so funny. I think he even laughed. But this match was good. I mean, these are three great workers here. Roderick Strong was doing some incredible stuff. They call him the Messiah of the backbreakers, and he was breaking these dudes' back. If you want your back broke, call Roderick Strong. And I don't know how that sounds, but either way, I said what I said. But it was a great match. I thought these guys were good. Sami Zayn being out there just being a nuisance is it's like things never change. He's still a nuisance. But it was a good match. It was a good match, and these guys really and I'm glad that they once again went with NXT because once again, you just have to showcase and show that they belong. They belong here, So yeah, good call.
Love it. Gene, how you feeling?
I will say this with those three in the ring, because like I said, introduction to NXT, I didn't know who Roderick Strong was, but looking at him go, first off, those backbreakers was something serious. Even I had to grab my back a few times and just say, okay, all right, that's enough. But I agree with this sentiment. I feel like this match could have kicked it to a higher gear with the three men that you had in the ring and their styles were like Shinsuke Nakamura. If you don't know who he is, coming from New Japan, he's kicked it up a high gear. AJ Styles, that career is just phenomenal, no pun intended. Roderick Strong, the way he was keeping up with them was amazing. And I felt like I knew Roderick Strong had it in him. So I'm just I feel like they really could have shifted this up to a way higher gear. I definitely wanted more. And I will give him this. It left me room to actually go and watch NXT because it's all right, if he's capable of doing this, I need to see what this brand really is about. So it definitely did the job of hey, NXT ain't no developmental spot. Definitely check out some of these young rising stars. And like I said, thanks to this Survivor Series, I definitely watched a lot more NXT and started really getting into it. Solid, damn near 9 out of 10. I can't find almost any other complaint beside the fact that I felt like this match could have kept up to a higher gear.
Agreed. I'm gonna go with Mark. So, did this match meet your expectations, or what are your takeaways?
So the match was definitely a little bit slower than I expected, but outside of the speed and the pacing, no, just the speed. I don't want to say pacing because I think that for the speed of the match that I expected, it was paced really, really well. I do remember when we were at the bar watching it back in 2019. Jean Baptiste was definitely shit talking NXT all night. It was insane, and it felt like every time he shit talked them, they won another match. It was really, really funny. I do remember when he stopped, and when we get to that match, I'll point it out. But like I said, as far as this match is concerned, I think everybody's like, oh yeah, they didn't go into a different gear. They didn't go into a different gear. And I've noticed, and that's something I noticed all night in terms of like, particularly like with the NXT superstars. They did not really hit that NXT gear, that next gear, if you will. And I feel like part of that is because they did have their own pay-per-view the night before, which is, to my knowledge, rather unusual. Not that they had a pay-per-view before, but that, so many would have they would have the pay-per-view before, a big one, that War Games, and then go into another, they're on another set of matches the next day. To my knowledge, that's rare as hell. So I think that is why they didn't hit that gear. But regardless of all of that, I enjoyed the match. It was I think what they did to compensate, and I found this as a theme, while it didn't have the pace that I wanted, everything was hard hitting. Everything was impactful. And this match was no exception. Like everything hit hard. Everything was an impact. And I gotta say, this is the second match. NXT's in-ring awareness, man. They on the ball to this. By this point, I was like, yo, they're on the ball tonight. We had a Rhea Ripley getting her assists, and Io Sky, and I forget who it was. I want to say it was Candice LeRae coming in with the assist over there. And now you got Roderick Strong coming in with the steal at the end. NXT was on their bag for real.
You know what? To piggyback off that, I want to say I don't think they didn't kick it into a high gear because they had a pay-per-view the night before. Looking at the way they were going, I almost feel like had they kicked it up to the gear that they normally were on, they might have embarrassed some of the main roster stars. And it wouldn't be the first time something like that has happened when it came to NXT. I think Poobah mentioned this a while back. There was a pay-per-view before, I can't remember. The NXT had a pay-per-view before E, and I remember Dolph Ziggler and Luke Harper had a match. And apparently, because a takeover was that damn dominant, those two were not going to sit there and allow NXT to stand them up in their main roster guys. So, like, looking back now, I kind of feel like if they kicked it to that high gear, they might have been embarrassing some of the main roster stars, in all honesty.
I can agree with that because obviously War Games was the night before, right? And I think part of the problem for me watching and listening to this match, that Chicago crowd was horrible in my estimation. They weren't cheering anybody. I'm like, are y'all there? Like, I had to turn up the volume a few times to be like, am I only listening to announcers right now? I did not feel the crowd had that much buy-in throughout until it got to the men's match, the 505-on-5 match, that there was any kind of lifeline there. And it's Chicago, so I was a little disappointed. Did you guys hear what I heard, or am I just overreacting?
They were too busy chanting CM Punk all night, especially when Nakamura hit the GTS, and they were definitely like CM Punk. They were too busy chanting CM Punk all night. I was confused. I thought like CM Punk had a match coming up, and I was like, wait, he's not even here. Like, what's going on?
Chicago's a tough crowd, in all honesty. Like, if you can't wow them, they don't care. That's one of the toughest cities to perform in front of, and it's like they're chanting CM Punk. NXT is dominating. Like, who are we really cheering here? Like, just like Mark Wynn said, they were booing SmackDown all night. I don't blame them. I really don't. NXT was dominating, and I mean dominating.
Well, I mean, to be fair, AJ Styles is a superstar, right? AJ Styles is somebody that you could say is a bona fide superstar. So he walk in that door, there should be a reaction. And the fact that they're like, hello, are you here? So that's why listen, and maybe you're not a big fan of NXT, you don't know NXT, right? So you admitted earlier, Gene, that listen, I wasn't a big fan of NXT. So for me, I got my introduction to NXT because of the Great, right? We went to an NXT show and I was like, I don't know nothing about it. But since the first match to the last match, Bolden. We went to a Raw, and the highlight for me was that Zebler guy, We the People. Other than that, I'm out. Like, this was not a good show, right? So I think that when you have the wrestlers, the talent, and the booking properly, it creates that kind of like, wow, what's going on? So I think the regular fans are just, I think, shell-shocked in a sense, because I don't think they realize what NXT is. And I think that's also created that we don't know what's going on here until you saw that the main people come in, like for the rest of the matches, they were more bought into that. So I felt like it was two shows in one when I was watching it. But this match, listen, I loved it. I think if you didn't know who Roderick Strong was, you should go look him up after this match. Like he really performed, and honestly, I think me and the Great had this conversation last year. Like when you see that North American title, who do you think of? And like when I see three names flash across my head when I see that belt, right? And that's something we can get into a little bit later. But he was a great North American champion. All right.
I agree.
I mean,
I did want to ask you real quick because I'm just curious, and this is just for everybody, but I'm just curious because I know like Rich King's like, when we talk about wrestling, we talk about a little bit of everything, and sometimes about announce teams, and we have our like not dream announce team, but like that the soundtrack to our childhood, right? But what did you think about Beth Phoenix and Nigel McGuinness being on when they were on? I like Nigel. Beth, I mean, she's I have nothing against Beth, but she don't stand out for me. But I like Nigel because he was an in-ring worker, and so he knows those moves and stuff. Like there was a thing that Adam Cole did, and he was able to say the actual name of the move. I know Michael Cole wouldn't do that. He would just say suplex on the knee, But what did you think? I'm just curious.
No, Michael Cole will give you the backdrop of why that move is there. I still not know what it is. I love Cole. That's what makes him great, right? But I'm aligned with you, man. Nigel was great, and Beth. Every time Beth talked, I was like, damn, like I like that.
I'm so sorry.
Not the feel for like it just didn't. It like there was if somebody looks at me like, whoa, I'm like, come on, you were a wrestler, so that should not be a whoa. So I think that was not it, Mark.
Yeah, I think Beth's. So all throughout the night, I felt like Beth's commentary felt incomplete, if that makes any sense. Like it felt like she knew how to react to certain situations, but didn't know she knew to react, but didn't know how to react. She didn't know how to I don't want to say didn't know how to commentate, but she didn't know how to the thing that commentators do. She
had no charisma behind the commentary.
No. It's not that. It's a little bit of that, but she didn't put over the match and the story properly. If that makes any sense, there's a better way to say it, but that's something that she did not do well at all.
She didn't articulate the match properly. Like I think that's the best way to put it. Like yeah, you reacted to it, but it's like you hear guys like Samoa Joe who wrestle and commentate, or CM Punk who wrestle and commentate. I think that's what it is. Like, and Beth Phoenix should be no different. You are an in-ring performer. None of this should be new to you. And I get that you're trying to, I guess, pan over to people who are just now tuning in to watch the product. But it seemed like your reactions were more forced than they were genuine. And that's where it was a little bit of a takeaway for me.
I mean, yeah, because
like
she doesn't know how to commentate.
But you see what I'm saying? Like Pat McAfee, he commentates and he adds a little bit of excitement behind it. And it's well-timed. It's well-timed. Sometimes he'll say some bad jokes after it, but it's like, okay, fine. I'll excuse the bad jokes, but you articulate the match well, and you bring the excitement when the excitement needs to be brought. Whereas it feels like Beth Phoenix, it's like you knew to cue the excitement, but your excitement wasn't believable at all. And it's like
commentary is still a skill. Like
absolutely.
Okay, right. So she didn't. I don't know how long she's been commentating before or after that, but like clearly her skill at that moment, like I said, don't know before or after, it wasn't up to par.
Listen, I agree with you. It wasn't up to par, and I think my final takeaway from this, from hearing her, I think for the great for bringing this up, I think when you have a certain charisma in the ring, you could do certain things, right? And like those are the commissioners, those are announcers, those are the backstage people we listen to. And when I think about her wrestling career, she was never like there was no charisma that I saw or heard, seen, and I think that's what it comes down to. So that was just a bad showing for her, unfortunately. But we're gonna move on to our next segment. One of my favorite matches of the night: Adam Cole. Where's the rest of it?
Baby. I'm sorry, I had on mute. Baby. And I was doing that because he does it.
Yes. Boom. Taking on Pete Dunne. And if you didn't really know what Pete Dunne is or who he was and what was going on, this was the longest reigning UK NXT champion, and Walter beat him. But I remember, like I said, the great put me on to the NXT. And the manipulation he's doing, just the charisma, the fur coat or vest, whatever the hell that thing was he was wearing. He was just a different type of character. And to see him lose the match, I mean, like I like Adam Cole, like I said, it is what it is. But damn, I want a little more. I'm gonna start off with Mark. What were your start? How did you feel about this match?
Another match that I just really enjoyed. Once again, it was another slow paced, hard hitting, big impact match. I loved it. I don't know how kayfabe those injuries are because I think Adam Cole had his ribs wrapped up and Peter Dunne had either his knee or his ankle. I want to say it was his knee that was wrapped up. But I felt this is when I noticed, like, oh, that's right. They had a they had a pay-per-view last night. Like, this is where I'm like, I think the fatigue is a real thing right now. Like, I know they were calling Roderick Strong the what did they call him? I forget. Something about his stamina.
The cardio, he has great cardio.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, but we slacking out here. Not slacking. Slacking is the wrong word. But we're definitely more calculated with our movements. We're not wasting movement. We're not doing anything extra. We are just getting this match done. And like I said, very impactful, telling the stories. I love the joint manipulations. It reminded me of if I'm getting this wrong, somebody can definitely let me know. But once upon a time, amongst us, I was a hardcore champion, and I feel like in order to retain my title, I pinched somebody really, really hard, and they tapped or something like that, and I was like, so it reminded me of that, the way Peter Dunne, does the way Peter Dunne was, doing the what did they call it? They called it short joint, small joint manipulation. So. Mm-hmm. It was really interesting, but then there was this one point towards the end of the match where he's over here messing with Adam's fingers, and then he just loses the match afterwards. He just gets hit with the last shot, and then you're over here playing with his fingers. He's hitting you with big impact. So good job, you lose. But yeah, overall great match. Loved it.
That's as real as it gets. The real pure alive and uncut version. We love it. Jean Baptiste. Come on, what you got?
Well, for two NXT guys, no Raw, no SmackDown, just two NXT guys, this is what I would say, what they like to call these days a banger. This was an absolute banger. I actually appreciated Pete Dunne was something different because it was definitely hard hitting, but this was the first time I think I've ever seen anybody try to bend limbs and break fingers. And I think that's what the strong point for the match for me was. I'm just like, this is unorthodox, but I kind of like it. This is great in-ring psychology. Break some bones, break some limbs. But one thing I will say, and Mark Wind, you're absolutely right. They were definitely telling a story, which it was something that wasn't seen as often when it came to WWE around that time. This wasn't about shock value, shock title change, or anything of that match. It was just two hard-hitting opponents. Pete Dunne actually did remind me of Sheamus's old style of going at it, where he would just stiff arm you and stiff like that. And not saying that Pete Dunne is stiff. It's just the way he hits felt like it was stiff. And it was a really good match. I didn't like the way it ended because I'm just like, dang, why are you holding his fingers this long? What are you doing? Why did we go this route? I want to know what was going through your mind when you decided I'm gonna bend your fingers a little more. So otherwise, it definitely left me wanting more. Again, I was a hater at NXT when it came to NXT back then, but looking back on it now, I can honestly say, damn, I was an idiot. What the hell was my problem back then? Because these guys were actually putting on some banger matches. And the hype is real. The hype was real for NXT. Loved it. This match definitely gets an 8 out of 10 off rip. I don't think there was any match on this card that I would rate below 8 whatsoever because of the NXT guys off rip.
I could think of a match.
You said because of the NXT guys.
Oh yeah, with NXT involved. Yes. Okay, give me that.
Okay.
I look forward to hearing that. It's funny. I'm hearing my guys, Gene and Mark. They didn't like the ending. I loved it. I loved it. Pete Dunne is going for a move. Adam Cole said, nope. And he hits the Panama Sunrise or the Panama Canadian Destroyer, whatever you want to call it. But I loved it. I remember when we were watching it live because it came out of nowhere. He's going for the bitter end, which is a fantastic move, honestly. And for him to just shift his body and do that and then hit him with the last shot. I love the last shot. That's literally my finisher in the 2K games now. I call it jackpot. I'm proud of myself on that one. Thank you.
Approved. 10 out of 10. Approved.
Thank you. But I thought this was great. And so this match, right? And you had a lot of matches where it was all your champions from each brand going against each other, and they did it differently here for with NXT. And I love this so much because even though we had NXT representation in these matches, you got to see what an NXT match would be like if you have two NXT guys. And these were the kind of matches that they were putting on at takeovers and on those regular NXT shows on Wednesday. Like, this was a great, because there was a lot of people who either didn't watch or were not familiar with NXT's game, or they fell off because at this time AEW was a thing now. So now they had to really have to establish NXT. You really have to make them really stand out. Like, this brand is something. So I'm glad that these guys went out there. I do agree with you guys about the story being told. Adam Cole, the night before War Games, he took this crazy fall. Did y'all see that replay? Ciampa doing a air crash off the top of the fact that he went to work the next day, comp for me, because absolutely not. But shout out to Adam Cole. Adam Cole was putting on bangers at this time. And I hope that he gets better. I hope that he does make a full recovery to the ring because, he's damn good. He's damn good. Oh, I'm sorry, Rich Kings. That's you.
Yeah, my fault for the delay. I put myself on mute. Like 110%. Like Adam Cole, in-ring charisma, wrestling style, the wrestling, how he orchestrates the crowd too, because everybody's just so into him. Like, he just really knows how to wrestle. Like, he really knows how to get a great crowd on reaction. And I think, like, if I was building a team back then at NXT, if you ask me, my first round draft pick is going to be him. Like, he's going to put some seats in the box. He's going to help build how he helped build Undisputed Era, right? And I know we didn't get into the pre-match shows because, that was a part of Survivor Series, but, like, he is just a great orchestrator, and he just knows what he's doing. In the ring, outside the ring, I'm a big fan of Adam Cole. I think it was a great match. So we're going to transition to one of our new segments here. And in my inner Shawn Michaels, the great, hit my music.
I'm sorry, we don't have a graphic yet.
No, it's all good. But that was great. We have something new coming out. Each one of us is going to have our own segment. Last week, a little taste of Mark's segment. That will be returning soon. We're going to have the great segment, and also I think we have Gene's Corner. Are we in trouble? So it's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. So I'm telling you guys right now, Gene's Corner is going to be a hit. The Great has his own stuff, and Mark is like me. We like chaos, but controlled chaos. So this week I have a different type of list. I have a top 5 of 2019. So just a research of what's going on in the year of 2019 of wrestling and WWE. I am not looking at anything else, so I'm letting you know this right now. And WWE, so that includes NXT. So I'm going to let you guys know off the top of the list, Brock Lesnar is an honorable mention. He is not a part of the top 5.
Ooh.
I'm letting you know right here, Daniel Bryan is not on the top 5 list. So
that's the devil.
And he had a great, amazing year 2019. But number 5, we have Kofi Kingston. Let me tell you about Kofi Kingston in 2019, man. This man finally got his first belt. He got rejection after rejection, and he went into WrestleMania and beat Daniel Bryan. Now, we're not going to talk what happened when he faced Brock Lesnar because that's unnecessary. But he held that belt. He was doing SmackDown proud, and he was a good, confident champion. I think a lot of times when we were watching wrestling, we were predicting some things like, oh, Big E's going to turn on him. Oh, maybe it might be Xavier. No, we didn't see that. We saw unity. We saw genuine happiness. And like it was just a great year in totality for Kofi Kingston. So I could not recognize him in the top 5. So he's number 5. Number 4, when you think about a transformation of character, I can't think of something that worked better for someone than the Fiend Bray Wyatt. He is coming in at number 4. I mean, I know we're gonna get into this match next, but when you think about he came back and reintroduced himself, and that every time people heard that beat and he had that skit, that was carrying Raw, right? That was carrying SmackDown. That was carrying whatever not show that we're watching because it was, the house shows, right? He just has so much charisma. Rest in peace to him. But he just gravitates every time he walks into the ring. And what he was able to do to the WWE faithful is second to none. Number 3, I have to bring in some NXT over here. And it's going to be Adam Cole, baby.
Baby!
When you think about NXT and when you think about the year that he had, right? Being an NXT champion, he was a North American champion. He was just NXT. And I understand Johnny Gargano, what he's done as a monster champion. But when you think about the Undisputed Era, like I was talking before, it doesn't work without Adam Cole. Like, he is the main character. And I honestly believe he was on NXT tapings every single week. And if it's not him wrestling a match, he's doing a cut backstage. And it's every single week. It was something else to see. He had so many different feuds. He kept it fresh. And for me, he kept NXT right at the cusp of, taking over, maybe SmackDown or Raw. But number 2, I have to put in Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins beat Brock Lesnar. How many times in 2019? Twice. WrestleMania and SummerSlam. If you do that to Brock Lesnar, you have to be in the top 5. And we know, I'm not going to say her name, Seth Rollins, his accomplishments and things of that nature, but we know when we hit that music, when you see that man in the ring, you're going to expect to see something that's going to be good. And I know your nephew out here thinks he's one of the GOATs. Like I said, he might be a Billy GOAT, but he's not the top GOAT. But Seth Rollins, he's up there. And number 1, 2019, you think about 2019, and you think about someone that had everybody at that time, like on a chokehold, except for me. I still like her. I got my favorites, but Becky Lynch has to be number 1. What she was doing in 2019 has been, I haven't seen anything like it from a female wrestler since. Like, she was just dominant. That man persona took off. This, I believe, was a turning point in her career because, she came out of NXT. Like, not saying she's a forgotten horsewoman because people would say, well, man, that'd be Becky. But sometimes I look at her and I'm like, dang, what's going on? And when we reviewed the Survivor Series of 2016, I believe that was we did, or 17, whichever one it was, it just seeing her that Ticketron, I'm like, what is this? You see like these little, I felt like I was going to a warehouse. Like, what's going on here? And then the curly red hair, it didn't work. But she, after that punch Jax gave her, it was like a new person. And she just put the rest of you by storm. She's my number 1 wrestler of 2019. I'm gonna pass up to you guys. What do you think? What would be potentially your top 5, or how do you feel about the top 5 of 2019? And I'm gonna start first with Jean Baptiste.
I have no objections. That's an absolute amazing, phenomenal list. Shocking, no Daniel Bryan, no Brock Lesnar, but if you took them away like you did, you still had a year for 2019. The Fiend Bray Wyatt was something phenomenal. The story of Kofi Mania, that was something amazing. The fact that the New Day, Big E and Xavier, they went and fought for Kofi's right to earn that WrestleMania title match. Credit to the Usos for actually. I think they quit. They didn't even fight that night. They just said, you know what, he got it. So definitely, Kofi Mania was something phenomenal. The man, oh wow, that was a transformation. I love Becky Lynch that year. Adam Cole, that's to me would be the face of NXT that year. Watching Survivor Series and watching Adam Cole, like I had to go back and watch some of his old stuff, and it's like, wow, Adam Cole was definitely the man of NXT. Like, he definitely was a captivating character off rip. Who else did you say on this list? Seth Rollins. Not my guy, but definitely credit is what credit due. I'm not sure if it was that same year where he took on the Fiend in the Hell in a Cell, which is probably what discredited him completely for me. But up until that point of Survivor Series, I'll give it to Seth Rollins because that mess with the Fiend was just like, who is this guy? It's like he did a complete turnaround in his character, from architect to coward. That top 5 list is perfect. I wouldn't change a thing. I would definitely say, yeah, perfect. I would probably move Seth Rollins down the list to 4 and probably put the Fiend at 2, but otherwise, perfect.
I'd love to hear it. No, Mark, I know you're a casual, and I think that you got your little interest in NXT, right? So, you might not know everybody for 2019, but, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't necessarily have any objections to the list. I can just comment on it because I do remember, Kofi Mania. I do remember that unity that the New Day had. The New Day was out, like Jean Baptiste had alluded to. They were fighting for Kofi's spot in WrestleMania. That was a dope moment. The Fiend, it felt like they wanted Bray Wyatt to, I don't want to say replace, right? Replace is the wrong word. It's probably a better word for it, but to replace Undertaker as that supernatural force going forward. And
Successor is a better word.
yeah, they wanted him to succeed. Wait, there you go. They wanted him to succeed Undertaker for that supernatural force, and man, it sucks that it was cut short, unfortunately. Adam Cole, I do miss that Undisputed Era music, if nothing else. Like I said, by this was my introduction to NXT. This is my introduction to Undisputed Era. I do vaguely remember the Grand Slam Puba, shooting that theme here and there prior to this pay-per-view at the time. You would just be out of like, especially like closer as we got to it, you'd just be like boom, and then you Seth, I have no opinion on. Like literally zero opinion. Seth is Seth. Seth's gonna Seth. He's gonna architect what he architects. Like I said, I don't have an opinion on it because I don't like literally nothing. It's just what's the word I'm looking for? It's just constant greatness from him. There's nothing you can. So if he was number 2 in 2019, then he's number 2 in 2019. And with Becky Lynch, as far as being number 1, I have a line from, I want to say it's Revolver Ocelot. No. It's Liquid Snake. I remember now that punch. And now, yeah, that those are my thoughts on your list. I have no objections.
I love that. Mark. But also, I think the great, help me out here. I know I saved the best for last year with this, Sam, because you are after me.
Thank you.
Savant. But the debut of the King at that WrestleMania, right? Did we not get the debut of that?
No, he was doing that in NXT too, but 2015, I want to say, was the first time he did it at WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. That one where he cashed in with Roman and Brock.
The heist of the century.
I like to see that one. But
you like that?
Yeah, I loved it. What are your thoughts?
I think you have a really good list. I loved how different this list was. I love that you said Kofi. I like to pull the curtain back a little bit. So when Kofi Mania, when all that was going on at that WrestleMania, we were at Gene's house. He was living, he was living. He was in Far Rock, and
the Isle of Samoa.
There we go. And because it's very far here, guys. But I remember getting emotional watching it. He's been at this place for 9 years and finally get an opportunity, and you see this happen. It couldn't happen to a better guy. Now, I'm not going to say this is a top 5 WWE title reign or anything like that. It was just a feel-good moment, and I thought he did a really good job in what he was given. And when you mentioned The Fiend, that was such a reinvention, man. Like, he's Bray Wyatt, but at night he's The Fiend, and he's playing 2 different characters, and it was such an interest. And I think even if you're not into that kind of stuff, you just can't deny the creativity there. Seth has been doing great things for years. That's not much I could talk about. You said Adam Cole, baby. Listen, man, I feel like you nailed it on the head when you said, you pretty much nailed it on the head when you said this Undisputed Era group could not work without him. He was the mouthpiece. He was the one always talking. I love that he's on this list. And what's there left to say about Adam Cole? And Becky Lynch, the punch was really more of her Austin moment. But when she turned heel, and we wasn't at SummerSlam, but we were at the bar watching SummerSlam, everyone was upset that Charlotte got this win when it was Becky's moment. And it was so cool because she attacks her. They try to force her to be heel, but the people wanted Becky. They wanted to cheer for Becky, and they gave us what we wanted. And Becky, main eventing one of the first women, her, Ronda, and Charlotte main event WrestleMania, and then does it again here tonight. It was her year. I think there's no doubt that it was her year, and you just can't take that away from her. You can say all these people, but it was Becky's year.
Was she Becky 2 belts that year?
Yes. It was at that WrestleMania. Matter of
Love
fact,
Becky too, Bella.
the only thing that I think the takeaway here, my only thing here is it should have just been her and Ronda. They squeezed in Charlotte Flair. There was really no reason for that, and I have no issue with Charlotte, but there was really no reason for that.
They obviously put Charlotte in to piss Jean Baptiste off.
I know. Don't
Clearly.
get them worked up.
Clearly, okay.
Don't get them worked up.
She had no business there. Like we've all wanted to see Ronda and Becky. The story was Ronda and Becky. The
Sure though.
feud between Ronda and Becky was just it was taken to a whole nother level. The man versus an actual UFC fighter. That was something spectacular. And here comes Charlie Flair. Yay.
Yeah.
Charlie.
Flair. Thanks, guys. We really wanted that.
Charlotte Flair. I think at that time we were saying, man, does she not ever have a belt? Like I think that's
true.
The review of that time. Or does she ever lose a pay-per-view? Like what is that?
I'm sure she has.
We were looking at her record. Remember, I think we were somewhere. We were like, let's look at Charlotte Flair's record for pay-per-views. And at the time it was like 11-2.
Listen, I'm pretty sure Charlie Flair wanted that 11-0. She was trying to do another Undertaker streak with her pay-per-view record. Like it's don't get me started. You know what? Great talent, but come on, man. You were just shoving us down the throat. Like, come on, man. We didn't need Charlie Flair. Like, you were just trying to take everything away. Jesus.
Oh Lord.
Well, Charlie and Charlotte, they are comfortably at the top consistently, so good for them. So moving on to our next match, we got one of the people we talked about was on my list here, right? The Fiend, and at that time, the Fiend, he was fiending. Like I love how they show
you cooked with that one. I just want you to know that.
I love that one thing I like about the creative is when they show you the package. If you've been hiding the rock, let's get you back into it. So if people like us just reviewing it, what was going on here? They gave you a little preview of what was going on here. So it's great to see that stuff. And one thing I probably didn't realize with the whole Daniel Bryan versus the Fiend match, I don't remember seeing it live. Is all his matches in red? Like, think about it.
Yes, they were.
Not all of them, but a good portion. Because I don't think that match with Goldberg was in red. It should have been because I didn't want to see that crap.
Yeah, I think that was the only one.
Yeah.
Him versus Randy was red. Him versus Daniel Bryan, it was red. I think him versus Cena, it was red. Was it red?
Because that's when he had the house match, the Firefly house match. I don't think
Firefly Funhouse match.
The Randy, I don't remember if you're talking because I remember that this was the pandemic, so they had that Inferno thing. I don't remember. I think the only reason the lights were different was because of the fire, but I don't remember. And I don't think the match with him the one at Mania was I don't know when it was a cutoff point though. I really don't. But now
might have been Hell in a Cell after Seth Rollins.
No, but you gotta remember Hell in a Cell was before this.
Yeah.
And that was red. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know when after, but like, yeah, no, that was his thing. And that was distracting, but go ahead.
It really was distracting me. But I'm actually looking forward to you here, the great. What are your takeaways in this match?
I mean, I think I know you're not like big on Daniel Bryan, but Daniel Bryan can really pull out the best out of you. And I honestly feel like Bray Wyatt, I mean, he's had good matches, but I feel like when he was in the ring with Daniel, he really brought the best out of him. So I agree. I hated that red light. I remember I was just like it's still going. It just kept going. So like he came out and I was like, okay, cool. What the? I was so upset. I was very highly annoyed because it does take away from the match. It's just distracting. Like I felt like I wanted to do other things because I'm like, oh, so you don't want me to see the match? That's cool. I'll do something else. But I do like the story here too. So it's a story. And, as I get older, I appreciate the story and what's being presented to me. And Daniel Bryan, he was the new Daniel Bryan. He was the, not Universal. What was he? The environmental guy. He had for God's sake, he had a wooden fucking belt. That was great. And now all of a sudden he's the new Daniel Bryan. I said, I don't know, man. I mean, he has the same beard. I don't think there's anything different about him. But he wasn't doing the yes thing. And I think it's so cool, right? Like, God rest his soul, Brian Christopher, when he came back, this was like 2011, and he did the Too Cool thing. He did like this, and he had no reaction, and it was so hard to watch. It was cringe, bro. Very, very hard to watch. But when you see Daniel Bryan and he's doing like this, and you see the sea of people doing that, I'm like, yo, he really got these people in his pocket. He really do. Another thing I do want to throw out, I just find it so hilarious. So the knee is called the Busaiku knee. But when Daniel Bryan used that move, he used it on John Cena. And I remember I was trying to Google what this move was called, and I was in a bunch of wrestling groups and whatever, right? And they were like, the knee that beat John Cena. I was like, I'm sure. I guarantee you that is not the name of the move. Like when they even did it, he said, the knee. I was like, I'm sure there's a name, but once upon a time, they would just say, that's the knee that beat John Cena. That particular knee, that's the knee that smashed John Cena's face and won the WWE Championship. And I just think that's funny. But I thought this match was good. I just wish they didn't have that red light because that shit just, ugh. But it was a good match. Very, very good match.
Like I said, it was awful. I hated that red light. And I'm going to call that knee the golden knee because it beat the golden shovel. So, Gene, what do you have?
This was one of those matches that I couldn't give anywhere over a 6 because I couldn't see most of it. Like I was I'm not gonna lie to you. Like the red light kicks in, I'm thinking it's just a part of the intro. It's gonna go away and the lights are gonna turn normal. And I had to listen to the commentators for some of the moves. I'm like, yo, what just happened? I don't feel like rewinding. I'm listening to the commentators tell me what move it was. I'm just like, I'm pretty sure if the lights were on, it would have looked good. Okay. And it's like, yo, why do we have this light on? It's not like we're watching two jobbers and you're trying to hide their bad wrestling talent. These are two great in-ring talents. So, like, what am I really watching here? Like, I get what they were trying to do, but this was poorly executed. With that being said, because I really couldn't enjoy a majority of the match, I don't even know if I saw the finisher because I heard the knee, and I'm just like, oh, okay, the knee. Who got hit with it? Like, was it? Oh, okay, Bray Wyatt got hit with the knee. That's fine. This is a solid 5.5, lower 6 out of 10 off rip, and that's just based off of what I could see.
I'm sorry. I just want to throw out here because first off, Gene, it wasn't that bad. Do you need glasses? And second off, I can see Gene
40. I can't see half.
Okay, so now you're telling me I can put you on them Life or Live commercials. All right, but let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. No, I just want to say, because I know Mark's going to take the floor, but I just want to say this. So we're watching this and we're a lot mature. This is 2025. 2010, if this is 2010 Gene and Mark suggested this, Mark, you son of a bitch, why'd you do this?
You know, and the bad thing is, the three of us so far, I'll look to Mark say because that's not his color. You know, he's a blue guy. If you guys don't know.
Yes.
His takeaway from this redness. But it's almost like when you first wake up, you do one of these. And I think if I
red inside your eyelids.
On TV. We got 4K TV or HD, whatever it's called. And the crowd, imagine watching this red beam and you're like trying to...
It's like they thought we were a bunch of cats and we were just trying to scratch at the red light the whole time. Like, get out of here.
That was for me because I'm a cat owner. I love that. And my man right here, Rich. But no, that's fine. Yeah, that red line was just so terrible. But yeah, Mark, please take the floor. I'm sorry.
So yeah, I'm actually, okay. The lights. I am a fan of the concept of the lights of fuck you, right? Like, because that's what they are, right? The lights go off and suddenly you cannot destroy this guy. You can't touch him. You can hit him as hard as you want and doesn't matter. He has a 50% HP buff, 50% defense buff. He got some super armor. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love the concept. So
give him Game Shark codes. Great.
Yeah. So I love the concept of the lights of fuck you. But if I remember correctly, one of the big issues is, and why they stopped doing it, is because the wrestlers themselves, like, forget everybody else, the wrestlers themselves can't see. So if the wrestlers can't see, that's kind of a problem, because then they don't feel safe taking moves, they don't feel safe doing moves, and that has a negative effect on the match. But I love the concept. I do wish that maybe they did like a combination where like we have both the red lights and the regular lights, so that, because the whole thing is, like I said, he's supposed to be supernatural. You're in hell with the Fiend. Da 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 da. I love the concept. I love the aura, the concept. I love all of it. But what you guys are saying about these red lights and how like you can't see shit it's valid. Like it is 100. It's not as bad as Jean Baptiste was making it. Like I saw the match.
No, the way he made it sound, but I'm laughing just to touch on what Mark was saying. He said you're supposed to be in hell with the Fiend. Yeah, the opponent, not us. I'm laughing because the way Gene is making it, like Gene is like, "What did you say? Like, what are you talking about, Gene?" I'm sorry. This match, I think this match is just the breakdown for all of us because we were so professional. But this match, the light really was a distraction, and I think it did a disservice. And maybe to Mark's point, because Mark said something really cool. I get what you're saying by concept and how cool that is. Maybe lower the red. I don't know if that. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if that would help.
You can't lower the red. You can't lower the red because at the end of the day, red. It's a weird color to have as a light.
I get you.
So like if it's too bright, you still can't see shit. Like I don't really know how to explain it.
So either way, okay, I get what you're saying.
Right.
This was a final boss fight in Persona. Enjoy.
What has to happen is, and granted, I'm not a production expert, but what it would have had to happen was there would have to have been still like regular light as well. So like where there's a little bit of red or maybe a little bit more red, but you still have to have the regular lights so that people can see, and like I said, so that the wrestlers can see, because that's really important. But overall, yeah, it wasn't that good of a match. Because here's my other thing: like, did anybody expect Daniel Bryan to win this match?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, so this is definitely one of the
but booking choice. Bryan don't win.
Right. Yeah. So this is definitely one of those matches where it's like, all right, whatever. Like this wasn't my favorite match. It was that's why when you was like, oh yeah, every match is an 8 out of 10. I had to like be sure, like, what are you talking about? Because this is not an 8 out of 10 match.
Any match with NXT involved,
right? And that's a fair point. But I enjoyed it in theory, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I hear what you guys are saying. We need better lighting. That was the biggest takeaway from that. And I'm surprised that nobody could like figure that out in terms of WWE. Like you guys are getting paid millions and millions of dollars, and y'all couldn't figure out the lighting situation. But yeah, 7 out of 10 max. And that's just because like I enjoyed the match and I enjoyed the concept, but the lighting is bad. I wouldn't be mad if someone was like, nah.
4. I'm gonna golf this. The thing is with this is like, listen, I agree. I get what you're saying, but I even though I'm talking myself into the red lighting because I say I hated it. And my brief thing is like watching the Fiend wrestle. It's like you needed this light. There was a part where he was on the top belt, he leaned over. I'm like, what the hell are we doing? Because if that was a regular lighting, we're going to be like, now what's going on? So his antics plays in for the red light, even though I'm not a fan for the red light. And that was to be the right call to have the Fiend win because this is a different character. He should be dominant. You just can't reinvent yourself and lose. Like, what are we doing at that point? And if that's the case, it's time for a release. All right, so moving on to the next match here. We have the men's 5-on-5, right? We have Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, King Corbin, Mustafa Ali, and Shorty G. We already know who Shorty G is on Team SmackDown. Team Raw has Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, and Ricochet, remember him. And Team NXT, Tommaso Ciampa, Damian Priest, Matt Riddle, Keith Lee, and Walter, a.k.a. Gunther. Listen, so I know we gave it to the great first. I got to give it back to the great again first on this one because, like, I know he has some opinions about that team that was on NXT. So what's going on? What you got?
So they didn't announce that team until either after last night's, the night before TakeOver or that Survivor Series, right? And when I'm looking at this team, even at the time, I was like, it's not a bad mix of talent, but if I'm doing this and this is supposed to be like, I'm getting my heavy hitters, I'm getting Finn, I'm having DIY on that team. So Adam Cole, I would have had Adam Cole because that's my Mount Rushmore, pretty much of NXT, right? Although I think I said really Sammy, but still, at that time, those are your big four, right? But Adam Cole, you can't use Adam Cole because he's the champion. He's in another match. Cool. I'm keeping Keith Lee because I'm not taking that moment away. I think he had such a fantastic moment. I don't want to erase that. And I was like, man, who would be my fifth? And I didn't really have enough time to look around. But I'm keeping Walter. We're going to call him Walter for the conversation, right? And I hated how they just got rid of Walter. Like, all I know is I turned around, I hit 3, and I look and it's Walter. He's on the ground. I said, okay, this should never visually ever happen. Like, why is he on his back? What I couldn't, like, of all the people to get eliminated first, you're gonna eliminate Walter? I couldn't even believe it. And you know what? That crowd, you said that crowd was dead. They woke up. This is bullshit. And then proceed to say CM Punk because they want you to let you know that they not only we upset, we want CM Punk back too. That's how Chicago kicks you in the dick. They sit there and say CM Punk. But as the time went on, and I hated when they called Chad Gable Shorty G. I hate it. I don't understand. Like, why was he? I felt like he was being punished because he's talented. And say what you will, he might not have the height to him, but you know what? The in-ring, and he has that. He can be charismatic. He can do these things. So I'm glad that they fixed that and changed that. But I thought this match was cool. I don't know, between the men and the women, like, you know, before we were kind of like the men blew him out the water, the last one. But I just thought there was a few things that was interesting. Okay, let me try to get all my thoughts here together. You look at the evolution of things, right? So Matt Riddle's on the opposite side of Randy Orton, and he eliminates Randy Orton. You're like, wow, you know, a few years later, they become RK Bro. You know, Ricochet, he's out there. He does Ricochet things. It was amazing, too, because when you saw Gunther, Walter, in the ring, and he's in the ring with Drew McIntyre, and they would have an encounter for the Intercontinental Championship. It just made me think about, man, in the future, how all these things happen and whatnot. Braun Strowman, he does the Thomas the Tank Engine thing, and he runs around and he shows the black people and whatnot, and he gets eliminated and he's protected. I wish they protected Gunther. I guess they just didn't care. And I'm glad that Gunther got his looks back years later, though. I just want to throw that out there very, very much. But I enjoyed this. I enjoyed that they had Keith Lee be the last one for NXT. Even though NXT didn't win this one, they didn't have to, because they won when Roman does this and Keith gives it right back to him and whatnot. And I thought they made him look strong. You know, of course, Roman was going to kick out with a spirit bomb. I love the name of that, by the way. Keith Lee is fantastic, you know, Dragon Ball fan. And I also like that when he was asked between Mario and Sonic, he said Sonic. So he's a fan of I'm a fan. But I loved how they protected him and made him look strong. I mean, losing to Roman, you don't lose any points on that. Roman was the big dog at the time. So, like, you know, it was fine. I'm just glad that they did a great job protecting NXT and making NXT look strong. And they were already on the board anyway. They were in the lead. So, I mean, they didn't have to really, like, blow everyone out the water. They just had to look good. And I thought they did a really good job with that. And I think Keith Lee was the right guy to be the last guy. And he pinned Seth too. He pinned Seth. And there's so many other things I'm missing here, but I'm gonna give the floor up so you guys can take it. But I really did enjoy this, and I was happy for Keith Lee.
Yeah, some great moments in this match. I'll go a quick gripe before I pass over to Mark. What I don't like is when we decide when somebody should be counted out versus when we decide someone else should be counted out. So it's not consistent. So later on in the match, there are two people clearly outside, and the referee's like, yeah. But he was so fast to do the 1, 2, 3, 20 minutes earlier. Like, what are we doing? So for me, it's like that wasn't consistent in the match. Just a small gripe. I did enjoy the match. I think even though Team NXT I felt like pretty stepping up, but Team SmackDown, I mean, you heard me read off those names. Like, that didn't excite me. But yeah, I watched this in live, and when I rewatched it again, and I seen Mustafa Ali come out on a survival team. And at the time, Shorty G, like, what are we doing here? So I was a little disappointed. Mark, look, you a little disappointed too. So I'm gonna pass off to you, and then Gene wrap us up here. So Mark, what you got?
I love the match. But man, some of the things that happened in this match was really, really interesting. So like when the match starts, right? I had to pause and contain myself because I was like, yo, what is this NXT team? In my eyes, like, once again, nostalgia. I see these people. Everybody on this team is like, yo, I'm looking at this thing like, yo, how did they not just actually like 5-0 everybody? I was really like confused. We had Walter, we had Damian Priest, who like I became a fan of because of the way they booked him in WWE. Like I said, this is retroactive, whatever, right? Like I didn't think nothing of Damian Priest at the time, but looking like this is 2025 eyes, I'm like, yo, what we going on here? We got Matt Riddle out here. Ciampa and Keith Lee, and I'm like, yo, how did they not just absolutely dominate? Now, obviously, they shouldn't dominate the whole team, but then at the same time, you have Walter losing, the first guy out. What are we talking about? How did that occur? What's going on here? I noticed that I felt like Ricochet had a Batman Beyond inspired outfit. I noticed it was black and red and had a little bat type thing on his.
I thought it was not.
Cool.
I thought it was Nightwing.
No, that was definitely Terry McGinnis.
Terry McGinnis.
Nightwing would have been blue.
Nightwing would have been blue, but Great Grand Slam Poobah might be a little onto something, because I feel like the bat on Nightwing is bigger than the bat on Terry McGinnis, Batman Beyond. It's not?
Nope.
All right. Gotcha. What other notes do I want to get out before it's a little too late? Oh, if I had that's right. There we go. See? All right. That's I had a feeling like when he said that, I was like, it could be. If I had a nickel for every Survivor Series I reviewed where Braun Strowman gets eliminated via countout, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't much, but it's strange how it happened twice. Like, it's really ridiculous. And to see this happen twice blew my mind, because it's like, no wonder he didn't get a push. Like, somebody didn't like Braun Strowman. I don't know what happened. Maybe Braun Strowman rubbed somebody the wrong way. He didn't do something that somebody asked. I don't know. But him getting count twice, like, we got to do, like, I get it. You're using the count out to protect him or whatever. But like I said, I saw this, and granted, this is 2016 and then 2019. So within 3 years, he's getting counted out in Survivor Series matches. That's crazy. I heard the crowd chanting for Ali, and there's another thing where retroactively I get it, because I didn't know it at the time. But like, Mustafa Ali is fire, and I saw it a little bit in this match. It's one of those things where it's like, but I saw it. It was cool. The Roman Reigns boos are hilarious, and yeah, overall it was a dope match. The ending segment with Roman Reigns and Keith Lee, that was hype. I know we're not doing my segment today, but if I was booking it, I probably would have had Keith Lee go over. But I understand why we don't have Roman. I don't understand why we don't have him lose to Roman. I mean, why we don't have him beat Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is the big dog, and eventually, he's building his Roman Empire. Also, Roman Reigns is not evil, so he wouldn't technically lose to the Spirit Bomb. But that's a whole other set of lore. But yeah, I enjoyed the match. It was lovely. The beginning of the match pissed me off. A lot of it pissed me off on the strength of, NXT. Like I said, that roster blew my mind. But objectively, I understand. But yes, match of the night for me personally.
Well, when it comes down to this Men's Survivor Series, I'll say I think the women were a little bit better. I enjoyed the women's matchup more than I did the men's. I definitely the takeaway for NXT, just looking at the roster that they had, I would have probably dropped Matt Riddle for Finn Balor or even Johnny Gargano. I didn't like the way they eliminated Walter, because I did see a Walter match. I think it was him versus Dragunov in NXT UK. And I just remember Walter for chopping the shit out of people's chests. So for me, I'm just like, why did I blink and miss him getting eliminated? What happened here? Braun Strowman getting counted out for a second time, I was a little disappointed, because I kind of wanted to see him and Keith Lee go at it. 2 big guys, see what a powerhouse is. Would I have changed the ending? Yeah, I would have. I think NXT had a dominant force. Their talent is a lot more explosive than the main roster at the time. So I definitely would have put NXT over. I hated what they were doing with Shorty G, because let's be real. Yeah, he wasn't a tall guy, but neither was Kurt Angle. Found out that I was actually taller than Kurt Angle. Shorty G definitely had the same charisma adjacent to Kurt Angle. So on 2 opposite sides of the spectrum, in 2019, Shorty G, Chad Gable, would have been our era's Kurt Angle. So I hated the way they did him dirty. Mustafa Ali.
Can I comment on Shorty G real quick?
Sure.
Yeah, Shorty G was like 5'7", 5'8", which is actually really, really short for like WWE standards. But I don't.
Same thing with Kurt Angle though.
Kurt Angle's not 5'8". He's not 5'8". He's
how tall?
he's
He's
either
taller than
5.
Kurt Angle.
Yes, he's like 5'11", 5'11", maybe 6 foot if you
No,
bill
he's
him
not.
right.
He's definitely not. I have a picture with me standing next to Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle was
He's 5'10".
He's
yeah,
5'10". Okay,
he's
gotcha,
definitely shorter
gotcha.
than me. So
Yeah,
it's
because AJ not that tall either, right? He's right along with us. Like we got the pictures too, but
yeah. So it's
but
like
I don't. But why did they call him Shorty G? Does anybody know? Like
that
why
was
did they
Vince
do that to
McMahon.
him?
That was Vince McMahon's thing.
You don't get it because he's short. He's short. Damn it, Shorty G.
That was a Vince McMahon thing. To me, it was stupid because he was definitely talented. Mustafa Ali, I think a lot of people slept on because when you look at some of Mustafa Ali's work, he's actually really talented. I think one of my best memories of Mustafa was when he countered an RKO by doing a handstand. And I'm just like, I've never seen nobody do that before. So definitely shout out to Mustafa Ali. But for the most part, NXT definitely killed it. I definitely would have put Keith Lee over Roman. No offense to Roman. Roman was okay at the time, but to me, Keith Lee was just better. NXT, like this match was a solid 9 off the rip. NXT definitely showed what they were made of, and they killed it. And they definitely made a fan out of me that night. Well, me watching it now, it's like, yo, I was an idiot for even thinking NXT was garbage. Like, nah.
Yes,
NXT, I became a fan of that night.
this was the match that won him over. He stopped talking shit after this one.
So I
He
mean,
definitely did.
the strength of a man is to acknowledge his faults, and Jean Baptiste did really well here.
I feel like we just had a service the way he said that. I love that.
My last takeaway about these Survivor Series matches. Listen, you got to do your homework. I'm a big fan of research. These schoolboy roll-up pins, you gotta be prepared. You just have to be prepared.
Hate them.
Roll-up.
Hate them to this day still.
It's
the most devastating move of all time, the fruit roll-up.
That's just ridiculous.
Not lying.
Oh, just
well, they should have tacked.
Yes.
Ask him. That's what should have happened. So, you know who didn't have to ask him? Brock Lesnar. So Brock Lesnar went against Rey Mysterio. And I know you guys said AJ, Adam Cole, we know he was winning the match. No one thought, or the Fiend match, ain't no one in hell thought Rey Mysterio was coming out with a W here. Once you saw the nice little package, I thought it was a retirement package at the time, to be honest with you. And here we are today, he's still here. But I'm gonna start with you, Jean Baptiste. How are you feeling about Rey Mysterio taking a visit to Suplex City?
He deserved every moment. I hope he had a first-class flight over there. I'm so happy he went there because it's like, what are you thinking? Like, this is not 2005 to 2010 Rey Mysterio who can probably slay giants. No, this ain't no giant. This is Brock freaking Lesnar. Sit your ass down. No, why did you think you had it? He bullied my son. Guess what? He bullies my son. You got it, bro. You got it. I'm walking across the street. Son, what did you do to piss off Brock Lesnar? You had no business in there. Like, if anybody actually thought Rey Mysterio was going to beat Brock Lesnar, I want some of the weed that you were smoking. Because ain't no way in hell you thought for a second a 619 was going to fly his ass out of Suplex City with a title around his waist. No. This is one of those times where it's like, put a title around. No, stop that. No, we're not doing that today. No, there's no see what happens. We already know how this is going to end. Suplex City, F5, be on your way. Have a good night, good sir. I didn't really care for this match too much. 4 out of 10. That's it. Because I already knew the outcome before it even started. The moment they announced this match, I already knew the outcome. So 4 out of 10. Thank you, Mr. Lesnar. Have a good night.
I think I might be the only one that, I'm like, okay, what chaos did they get for this match? I wanted a suplex into the crowd from the ring. Because he's a high flyer. German him out the ring into the crowd. That's what I want. Or German him onto the Spanish announce table. Get him out of here.
If he did that, that match would have skyrocketed to a 9 out of 10. Yeah. Throw him around like the sack of potatoes he is.
Is going to get owned or dominated or just manhandled. I need to see some high flying. You can take this punch. If you had a nerve to go in here, you need to go fly out too. I'm gonna give you a first class ticket out of here. All right, Mark, what you got for us?
Worst match of the night. I hated this match. This match, I don't got much to say. Like, at the end of the day, we all know that Rey Mysterio is a fraud. It's Juventud Guerrera that should have been in his spot. He comes out with this Joker movie, the movie Joker inspired outfit, and what are you doing? Like, you're not. I mean, if you're sitting there saying, "Yo, I'm gonna get beat up like Joker did in that movie," like from the beginning of the movie, sure, whatever. Like, that's what we're gonna do. Um, I felt like they kept disrespecting Eddie in this match. The commentators was like, "How Dominic is Ray's son? Come on now, cut it out." They did frog splash, it didn't work. Come on now, cut it out. But for me personally, the biggest offense in this match is that the pipe bent. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I was expecting anybody to get hit with a real steel pipe. However, I'm pretty sure that the pipe was cardboard. There's definitely several points in the match where, like, you see the pipe and it's not a perfect circle. It's like this. It's like bent. Like, what? I don't have no worst match of the night. I have nothing else to say.
Rey Mysterio played clown games. He won clown prizes. Get your ass out of here.
Well, you know where he should have got a pipe from? And the great knows where I'm from Taker. Taker had a pipe.
He did have a pipe. He did have a pipe.
That pipe was something else. The great. Sorry.
And then, like, one more thing. Sorry. And, like, I'm looking at this match, and I understand why Dominic be ODing on Ray, because, like, why did he put his son through this? Like, what are you doing? Like, why'd you do that?
This is a damn fool. Remember what he said in the interview before? I told my son not to watch this, but I want him to watch this. So you want him to watch your ass?
Yeah, thank you.
How do you dedicate an ass whooping that you receive to your son? Like, who dedicates their own ass whooping to their kid? Like, what the hell is your problem, bro?
Father, this is
I love that. I love when Gene said that. He said, "I dedicate this ass whooping to you, son." Everyone knows how I feel about Rey Mysterio. I mean, he an agent of fraud. And I'm just a big fan, a proponent when he always gets exposed, and he got exposed here. I mean, I've been saying for the longest time, like, and now everyone's starting to see it for what he is. I assumed that he was just wearing the outfit that he wears on the daily, so that's why he was dressed up as the Joker. But it is what it is. And seeing Brock just destroy him, I was listening to Rich Kings, and when he said this, I feel like you'll get this reference. You said you wanted to see Rey Mysterio get tossed into the crowd, right? Just like how in 2002 when Big Show picked him up and he just flung him in the crowd. I remember Ray went flying. And here's me in 2002. Ray just got tossed. I said, "Where's he going?" Like, he made that decision. But honestly, I didn't hate this match. This wasn't like no match of the night for me or anything like this. This was just introduction to Dominic Mysterio, who later on he's become great. I mean, we did I want to say it was Saturday Night Main Event review, and it was so cool hearing you, Mark Wynn, saying like, "Yo, Dom got it. Like, he got it. Like, you see where he has come from this early stage and stuff like this. Like, that Dom is not the same Dom that we be seeing on TV now." And he helped out his deadbeat dad. I mean, look, like you said, there was, like one of you guys said anyway, there was no way Brock was going to lose this. I mean, you have the Fiend. I mean, Jesus, we had two matches. We had the Fiend and Brock with the title. Jesus, that's terrible. But, like, there was no way Rey Mysterio was going to beat him up. And even in the interview with Rey Mysterio before that, and he says, "Brock don't remember. We've been fighting since 2002. And you was getting your ass kicked then too." like
he was funny because when he said Brock don't remember, I said, "Neither do I. You weren't that special back then either. I just remembered you getting your ass kicked then."
Yeah, he was getting beat up. He was getting tossed around and everything. But I didn't think this match was bad, though. I really didn't. I didn't think this match was bad. But Rey Mysterio getting his ass kicked always put a smile on my face. It brings such joy when you see this. Agent of fraud, like I said, dominated. So I loved it. That's right.
I gotta ask everybody a question.
Sure.
Did y'all feel that this match deserved to be the main event of Survivor Series?
No.
This wasn't.
It was the last match of the night. I figured that'd be the main event. That was the main event.
It was the
No,
second
it
to
was a
last
women's
match
match
of the
that
night.
Yeah,
we
I
were
was gonna
talking about.
say.
we
Yeah,
were talking
yeah, yeah.
about. You have no opinion about this match. We're talking about Shayna Baszler,
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about Shayna Baszler. Oops.
Becky Lynch, who was, in my opinion, the number one wrestler of 2019. And I
Mhm.
think somebody that was very unappreciated, Bailey. You know, they showed
I
her,
love that.
and she's getting ignored, and I'm like, what the hell? And like Bailey is just somebody that is a professional wrestler. She gets in the ring, she does her job, she wins, she loses, and she leaves the damn arena. And I think sometimes when you are just, I don't want to compare it to like a Bret Hart, but when you're just so good at your job consistently, it gets overlooked. You're the first one in, the last one out. It's like, all right, next. But I think for her, like she just, I think people are like, oh, Bailey didn't need to be in the match. No, she needed to be in this match because I think Bailey is one of those wrestlers that does not consistently get her flowers. I would have personally had her win the match. We have time for that. We'll talk about that in a moment. But I want to hear what you guys are thinking about this. Jean Baptiste, I'm gonna start with you. Like, do you remember the match?
No, no. When it comes to now I remember because I don't know why the Brock Lesnar thing threw me off, and I really thought he was a main event. But in all honesty, Bailey does get her flowers. You got to remember, like 2020, she carried the company on her back. She was the MVP of 2020, especially during the pandemic era. So I won't say she doesn't get flowers.
But when I say don't get flowers, I mean people talking about her. Not saying WWE does not put her on, give her the belts. But when we think about these four horsewomen, I think we're going to talk about, most people talk about her last. You don't like Charlotte, so you probably put Charlotte last. But when you think about the general population and her overall work, I don't think she is acknowledged as she should be.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Poobah, but then I always say Bailey and Becky over Flair and Sasha Banks. And I believe you used to always tell me now you would put Sasha before Bailey. And I always thought Bailey was the better one out of all of them, probably right under Becky.
You might have. I'm sorry. No, and you might have. I'm not going to say like no, you didn't. I just don't remember. But I do remember saying because I just always liked Sasha's work over Bailey.
Yeah, but I always think Bailey was definitely like out of the four horsewomen. It was always I would always switch around and say she's probably number one over Becky or vice versa. But I always thought Becky and Bailey were like the two better in-ring competitors than and when it comes to Charlie Flair, like as much as I may rag on her, she has talent. I think I just get so upset because she's a Flair and you're just getting all this handed to you because you're a Flair. And that's probably my biggest gripe when it comes to Charlie Flair. But in all honesty, all talented women, but I always thought Bailey and Becky were always the better two.
All right. Before I on to Mark.
Okay.
What about Dominic Mysterio? He's a Mysterio, and he wins a lot, right? And we don't give the same flat to him. So why would we do that to Charlotte? Last time I checked, did Dominic Mysterio visit NXT?
No.
He just went to the main roster. Just here you go. You went
but now look at Dominic's character work. Dominic actually developed,
and then going to be on this amazing.
You know what I think?
Dominic's character work developed over the time. Dominic ended up becoming one of the greatest heels.
He went straight to the main roster. If Charlotte was given everything, she should have been catapulted straight to the main roster. My point is, she had to work. She had to put in work in NXT. She had to put in work before NXT. What did Dom Mysterio do?
And I just let me rebuttal that. How many championship reigns does Charlotte Flair have right now?
She's been here longer than him.
No. How many championship reigns does Charlotte Flair have?
What, like 10?
It's like 14.
14. How many does Dominic Mysterio have?
You include all of the tag team and the Intercontinental belt and the AAA championship and the run he's going on. And my point is this. I'm not saying he thinks people don't deserve it. My point is, who can we know that, son, you're going straight to the roster and you're going to stay there? We have not. So the things you're talking about, Charlotte, she was giving things. I don't know what she was giving. She was given an opportunity to compete.
If I could piggyback because Gene would say this a lot and stuff like that, but I don't believe so. Charlotte would say this wonderful thing. She would say, "Yeah, my last name got me in the door, but my talents kept me," and that's really the truth of the matter. If you look at a lot of individuals, if I can use what's his name, Maru, he was a part of Legacy, and he was a part of that bloodline with Manu, yes, and he's part of that bloodline with Roman Reigns and all these people. He did not last, and he was a part, and that's a big family. Like that's a family that's compared to like the Harts and the Rhodes and all that stuff. So I always like I would let you say your piece. And also, too, I just want to throw this out here because I think I could go a little further back here. Anybody remember David Flair? He's a Flair. He didn't last.
WCW.
He
He
did
didn't
not
last at
last.
all.
Yeah, he was a Flair though.
No one remember David Flair getting beat up by Taker. I remember my Flair.
I have a David Flair story. It's one of my favorites. Maybe we'll do this as a nitro, but I do remember that. I love that. I love that one. But there's one where he literally clotheslined a mailman. I love that one. It was a WCW. He just went crazy one day. And what was his name? Mike Today was trying to interview him. And you knew he was just starting to get into wrestling because when people do a clothesline, do like this. He clapped his hand before he did the clothesline. I said, "Oh, he's new." So I do. I'm with Rich Kings with that. I do believe that these third generations and second generation wrestlers, they do have to work hard, and it is like some people get. Look, my only issue with Charlotte was always this: the way she was booked could never take away her talent. I'd be like, sometimes I'd be like, again, like I would be annoyed. But I remember a match. SummerSlam, it was 2021, I want to say. It was a triple threat between her, Rhea, and Nikki Cross. And Charlotte just outshined those girls. And I immediately said, you know what? Yo, you ain't my fave, but I ain't going to sit here and say you ain't talented.
No, I'm very, very fair. I love that. I'm going to go back to you in a moment. But
oh, sure. I didn't mean to take the floor.
No. This is a great dialogue. Come on, let's go. Mark, what you got?
Am I talking about the match or am I talking about the Flair? Because I can also defend Charlotte Flair myself. Like, I don't even. Yeah, okay, cool. So, because I have no affinity for Charlotte Flair. I don't want to sit there and say I get annoyed when I see Charlotte Flair with a belt, but it's just, there is a part of me that's like, so nobody else. That said, as the great Grand Slam Poober mentioned, the two words that almost automatically defends her. David Flair. A whole other thing is, where's Ric Flair? Like, a lot of the times when Charlotte Flair is in the ring, Ric Flair is nowhere to be found. Like, yeah, his name is there, and yeah, it helped her get to the dance, but she kept dancing. So, like, we can't sit here and pretend that, oh yeah, she was given everything and she doesn't have to work for nothing. No. It's not how that works. Take, for example, I have two more words to help defend this. Bronny James. Bronny James is LeBron James' son, and at least right now has no business being in the NBA, none whatsoever. And I'm not saying, oh, I can beat him in basketball. I'm not going to sit there and say that. That's disrespectful. But nowhere near being in that upper echelon. But if he worked and he does what he's supposed to do, maybe he'll be able to get some playtime. Charlotte got that Bronny James treatment, but has the playtime, has put in the work to do the playtime. So I get it. Like y'all said, the way she's booked, she's always has to have a title around her waist. I can understand why that would be annoying, especially if, I'll say this much, I don't think her character is that great of a draw compared to a Sasha Banks, compared to a Bayley, compared to a Becky Lynch. But that's just me. Compared to a Naomi, compared to a Bianca Belair, compared to a Rhea Ripley. I don't think so. That's just me, though. As far as this match with Shayna and Bayley and Becky, it was a solid match. It's another match I loved. Another one of those 8 out of 10 minimum because we got someone from NXT in it out here making things hard for everybody else. You got to sit here and you got to wrestle. You got to take the impact. You got to put in the impact. I loved it. It was a great match. I do feel like it ended a little prematurely because I feel like Bayley actually got hurt. I'm not 100% sure. Not necessarily like a permanent injury, but she did something outside the ring. And like, I want to say like maybe 2-3 minutes later, she tapped. And I don't know. But then after that, there was the whole thing where, Shayna Baszler, she's celebrating. And maybe she was supposed to win. Like, I think she was supposed to win. And maybe that segment with that whole thing where Becky, is supposed to steal her glory. And then they got her music playing at the end of the thing, even though she ain't win nothing. Maybe that was supposed to happen, but I felt like Bayley might have got hurt, and they was like, all right, let's just end the match a little sooner not a lot, just a smidge. But other than that little thing that I might have noticed, and like I said, maybe it's just what they call a placebo effect. Other than that, I enjoyed the match. It was another one of those nice, solid, hard-hitting matches. And it had to be hard-hitting because Shayna Baszler is a better Ronda Rousey. I don't know in terms of UFC. I want to say that, you know, Ronda is the superior mixed martial artist in the UFC ring. She's not. So Shane, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Shayna Baszler was definitely better than Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey just got pushed harder. I think after the Holly Holm fight, in UFC,
okay,
when it came to UFC, Ronda Rousey was more of the it girl at the time, but Shayna Baszler was definitely the better fighter. And that was definitely proven when Holly Holmes knocked out Ronda Rousey. Like every hole in her game was exposed because after that fight loss, she never could get back up on top of that mountain.
Right. But yeah, it had to be a hard hit match because we got Shayna Baszler.
And credit to Shayna Baszler because for somebody to come from the UFC ring, like you started off UFC or mixed martial arts, and to be able to grasp the wrestling concept. Now, granted, I believe she has a grappling background, which is what gave her a little bit of an edge. But definitely credit to her to perform the way she did coming from the mixed martial arts world, because that's not an easy transition. Like a wrestler can transition to mixed martial arts if they put in the work. Like if you don't and you try to do what CM Punk did, well, you know, get your ass out of there. But if you put in the proper work, such as people like Lesnar and Bobby Lashley did, you're going to become an amazing fighter. And for those who transition from MMA to wrestling, such as Ken Shamrock, like, more credit to you, because wrestling is not an easy sport. It's a dance and a choreographed dance that you got to actually get done properly. And shout out to Shayna Baszler for nailing it to a T. So definitely, I don't know if anybody ever gives her flowers for it, but I definitely will give Shayna Baszler her flowers because she definitely deserves it. Like, she made that match a solid 9 out of 10 off rip. And I liked watching Shayna Baszler. Like, when it came to NXT, I didn't like what they did to on the main roster, but NXT, they pushed her like she was supposed to be pushed. She was dominant, and she damn sure deserved that.
It wasn't necessary for that. I'm not going to get back to your point. I just want to get the grade in here real quick, and then we'll circle back with this.
Mm-hmm. This was some good stuff. You know, to what Gene was saying, in NXT, she was just booked like a killer. I mean, it was almost kind of unfair for the person standing across the ring for her because it just seemed like that person didn't stand a chance. And I kind of wish that they could have done that with her on the main roster as well. I mean, she kind of had some promise. You know, she was in the Royal Rumble in 2020. And then at the Elimination Chamber, you have 6 women in there, and she eliminated all the girls. She eliminated every last one. And I don't think that's ever been done since. So it's really disappointing on that stuff. But getting back to the match here, really good stuff. I mean, you know, I didn't hate this match, but it wasn't something like I was like in love with or anything like that. But I thought that these girls really put in the effort. I mean, you have 3 talented women. I wanted to touch on some about Rich Kings, and you're saying like you feel like Bailey don't get her flowers, and I kind of agree with that in a way. Like, she even feels that way, and I think people are starting to do that a little bit more. Like, not to say she doesn't get them. I don't want to say that, but it seemed like people are starting to do that a little bit more because of her longevity and the work that she puts in and stuff like that. Because she does sometimes seem very appreciated. And this is such a different Bailey too. You know, it's not the hugging Bailey. I did not like the ending though. I didn't like how Shayna won, and then next thing you know, Becky trips her, and then you hear, "Oh!" I was like, okay, but like, I didn't like that. I don't know. It felt like it was almost like, yeah, NXT won, but still Becky stands on top. And I kind of just didn't like that. I felt like it took away from what Shayna did and whatnot. It doesn't take, not really so much, right? Because the score was 3-2 and Raw was in dead. Oh my God, did not finish. I don't even think they left the fucking finish line. It was really bad at the score.
They didn't, because like, if they don't count the pre-show matches, they get 0.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So, right. They didn't win at all in this pay-per-view. Okay.
No.
But see, I want to go to what Richard King was saying here. And, you know, the next person can take the floor here. But he was talking about consistency. And, like, I think it was the year before that, Raw swept SmackDown. It was like 5-0 or something like that. But meanwhile, on the pre-show, they counted that. They didn't count that point. But here they counted the point. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's very inconsistent. Do you guys? I remember there was a Survivor Series. Raw swept them. Like, even the Usos, so they won a tag match, and the Usos said, "Well, we won the pre-show," and they had to say that don't count.
This is a pre-show. It's not the thing. It's like, no, it's rehearsal.
Nah, but this match was fine. I just didn't like that ending. And Shayna winning, I loved how they booked her in there, and she kind of had that same, like, not the same thing like Pete Dunne, but like she'll step on your arm, like she'll fold your arm like this, and just she was so good. She was so great. Maybe not the most charismatic individual, but I always figure like people can get over because of their in-ring work. Because not everyone's going to be someone like a Rock on the mic or name whoever it is, John Cena. Some people would get over because of their in-ring work, and I think she could have been somebody that she could have been one of those people.
Well,
He suffered the Cesaro syndrome.
Cesaro, yeah, no, Cesaro was really good in the ring. I mean,
he just had poor mic skills apparently,
and you know. You said Gunther, but Gunther, and once again, he's not the most charismatic individual, but when he gets the mic, like, I'm listening to this dude. There's people who have a mic and be like, please shut that off.
I mean, maybe for me, a person my taste, not for
sure.
I hear you saying, it is fair.
That's fair.
We're putting up a bow on this Survivor Series review here. So just to end this up, give everybody a final word, their last take. This is going to be like, hey, so if there's one thing you would change this pay-per-view, what would it be? So for me, one thing I would change is when I started again this match, I think I would have Bayley winning. The fact of the matter is, Shayna Baszler was NXT's woman, period. Like I said, she just missed the top 19 for me, right? Kairi Sane had that win that broke her streak, and she won that damn belt again, and then it was, this is mine, right? So for me, she really is at the height of NXT. Becky Lynch, she was the top, for me, the number one wrestler of 2019. And it was, I'm not saying it was shouted because I watched both shows at the time, but, Bayley being healed, that was incredibly successful, in my opinion, right? And I think for her, that heel should have won that match. So the only thing I would change for the whole thing would be the Bayley thing, and I'll leave everything else alone. Gene, what would you change if you could change anything in the Survivor Series?
Put lights on during the Fiend versus Daniel Bryan.
What we know, team, what we notice is Gene likes to see the match, and if it's red, I can't see.
I just wanted to see what was going on. Like that's all I asked.
Put
some lights on.
It's critical.
You know what? Put some lights on. See what happens. That's all I want. Put some lights on. Let's see what happens. Otherwise, I think Brock Lesnar and Rey Mysterio could have been left off the card. Like, we really didn't need that. That match wasn't really needed there. That was filler to me. That's filler for what it was. And then otherwise, it was a great Survivor Series. I loved NXT. They definitely changed my mind by the end of the night. Shout out to NXT. Like, great job they pulled.
They did. They sold the show. This was a show. Loved it. Mark, final takes.
Other than adding some like regular light to the red light of a Bray Wyatt's match, I don't know how I would change it, but I would definitely. Granted, this is my match of the night. I would rebook some of that men's Survivor Series. I don't like how Walter went out. I don't like how Braun Strowman went out. And knowing my chaotic ass, I'd have Keith Lee win. So even if I keep the ending the same, because I think the ending was fire, I just personally would have had Keith Lee win. I'm still changing those two things. I know you said one, but I'm changing those two things. Something had to give with Walter and especially Braun at that time.
That's incredibly fair. I'm in agree with you. It's an embarrassment. It should have happened to somebody of that caliber. They don't do that to other people, so I don't know what. Maybe he was in trouble or something. I don't know what happened.
He was in trouble.
I don't know. I was lost. The Gray, what are your final takes?
I mean, everyone said the light, so I guess I'd be redundant. But I will sit here and say, what would I change? That awful Raw theme, that's one of them. That theme was awful. When I heard it, I said, is this a threat? The other thing I would have changed, and I'm in a total agreement, I just want to throw in here like the three things I would have changed. Walter, his involvement in the match, he would have been in there much longer. Maybe like the final 3 for NXT. I would have maybe even 2. Because who was the other guy for 2? It was Tommaso, right? So maybe I would say final 3 for NXT. At least made it that far. And the last thing I would have done, and I pretty much said it earlier in the show when we were talking about the men's matches, I would have changed that team up. I didn't hate that team, but like I said, sending your heavy hitters, Finn Balor, DIY. I'm keeping Keith Lee and I'm keeping Walter because I couldn't think of anybody else. And they were including both NXT and NXT UK. So I would have just changed the men's team.
Fair, love it. All right. So I'm gonna pass it back over to the great to round us out.
So first things first, great. Let's give a round of applause to Rich King because he really led this, kept it in order and everything like that. We were so chaotic last week, and Rich King said we need to have a meeting, and it worked out very well. But this is the Big Pop Theory podcast on the YouTube channel, so please hit that like, subscribe, and notification button, and also follow us there. So we're doing retrospects and we're doing stuff about stuff that happened years ago and give our thoughts about it. And it's been such a great time because one, we get to talk about some old school wrestling, even though this wasn't super old school, but still just happened a few years ago. But then also too, we get to hang out with each other and just talk some good old wrestling. So please check us out. We're scheduling note. We plan on giving predictions for this year's Survivor Series on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, and that Saturday review Survivor Series War Games. That should be great. And, we got the War Games team going on. Brock Lesnar returned. We got Roman Reigns back in action. So it's gonna be a fun time. So please check all that stuff out. Follow the Big Pop Theory podcast on all the social media sites, Instagram, Twitter, and we have a Gmail. If you have any questions, we'll answer it. But with all that said, I'm going to give the floor to you, gentlemen. So we're going to start with you, Mark Wins. Mark Wins, you're trying to do some content creating yourself here, and the weather is getting a little cold, so we're going to be staying inside. So please, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Legend Number M on YouTube. It is not a little cold. It's very cold. I hate it. If there's anything that makes me move from New York, it's this cold weather because I can't stand it. I've been slow with the shorts uploads lately because work has been acting funny. But this Monday, I do have a Sonic the Hedgehog 2 video planned. It'll be some gameplay. I'll be talking some shit. So look forward to that. Like I said, Legend Number M on YouTube.
Love it, love it. Make sure to have that link in there. Jean Baptiste. The next time we do when we do a retrospect, you'll be having your corner, which sounds like a terrible way to introduce your segment, but that's how it's going to come out.
Funny enough, the corner, I'm very used to the corner. Shout out to my dad. Every time I got in trouble before the ass whooping came along, I guess it was a Haitian ritual. Put yourself on the knees in that corner and wait for that ass whooping to come. And that was always the most killer part, the anticipation of how bad that ass whooping was going to be when you got it. So definitely, it's more of a retrospect and a shout out to my dad. Rest in peace, the great Max Butler. November 25th, Thanksgiving. I will make my return to Twitch. I've been away for a long time, and I think it's about time you young Thundercats realize that the King of Game is going to return. Y'all been comfortable for way too long, and it's about time, all y'all on Twitch who thought they were hot shit, it's time to let y'all know that y'all soft, and the King is going to return to his throne where he belongs. So definitely you're going to catch me doing some gaming and really making these little newbies cry their eyes out when I return. Hopefully I don't make an ass out of myself and I haven't been far away from the game for too long, because then I'm going to look like Rey Mysterio. But we're going to try to make sure that doesn't happen. You'll definitely catch me on Twitch TV at Desert Storm 459. Plug that in. I hope to see you guys there, man. It's going to be a great time.
Before I give the floor to Rich Kings here, I just got to say, bro did a wrestling promo with tape in his hand. I've never seen that done ever. And then on top of that, probably announced his own ass kicking, because I can't wait to watch you on Twitch and probably get fucking obliterated. He's gonna go out there. I should get the picture of Vegeta, because it's my favorite thing now. Just the arrogance, the arrogant eyebrows always crack me up. Just so
cried when I saw that picture, because I said, "Oh shit, that's definitely what happened to him."
Rich Kings. Tell these lovely people where they can find you.
Find me right here on the Big Pop Theory podcast. And Gene, so you were saying that, and I'm going to get some feedback about how well you do. I'm going to tune in myself, just download to see how well you do. And you know what gift I'm gonna send you? One of my favorite cartoons ever is a Vader Zim. And there's a gift of him pointing saying, "You lie, you lie." If you get owned, you're gonna see that gift scroll over and over and over and repeat. And just
I mean, that sounds like a Twitch party. We should just all just like go to Twitch just to see what happens. You just get swept. You just, I hope you get sponsored by Swiffer. Where's it called? Breeze, because you just
we got a new scent, the Gene Baptiste.
yeah. Oh, and it's gotta be that. You know, it's gotta be that picture with the It's just gotta be that picture.
And
It's gotta be that picture.
the grandma pushing the Swiffer down the thing. It can get the ceiling. It can get the behind the couch.
Oh man, Gina just gave us some material to last us for the rest of our life. But I want to thank you guys for joining us for Survivor Series. We're gonna be, like I said before, talk about the current Survivor Series next week. And gentlemen, thank you for another great episode. We're gonna put this picture up because we don't have an outro yet, but we will soon because we're professionals. So thank you guys for watching the Survivor Series 2019 Retrospect review. You see Shayna Baszler, she's happy with her belt. We're happy with this review, and we hope you are as well. So take care and see you for the next review.
One love, people.